And now back to our show with Terry Wilson.
So is this the one that Snoop Dogg raps over? Or is this another one?
Warren G. Regulator.
Warren G.
All right, so we've got some email questions we're going to go ahead and get into. These are some good questions. So first question, Terry, could you put together a step-by-step training for various lead generation types? There are only a few specific step-by-step trainings in the RMP Elite module, which is true. There's only, I think, 3 or 4 business types you go over in that Elite training, but there's a reason that you do not go over more.
Yeah, the reason it's that way is because the very moment that let's say, for instance, you're doing, well, like right now, there's a popular one going on with one of our survey companies right now where they're paying, I think, $4.50 for the survey on the COVID-19 thing. And so it's push polling basically, and they're probably selling it to the politicians and stuff like that. And so anybody out there that's got our tools, our bulk text, bulk dials, stuff like that, and are pushing these surveys. So I could, and I'm doing some of that, but I could teach step by step. Here's the landing page I'm doing. Here's the text that I'm using. Here's the script that I'm using. I could go through the whole thing, but guess what happens?
Then everyone uses that.
Well, by the time I get it produced, guess what's over?
The opportunity to use it.
So, I mean, that's number one. That's number one reason. Number two, like Michael said, if it is a campaign that is going on over and over and over again, you dilute the effectiveness of it if you give step by step on your scripts and things like that. What I have learned and what helps, I approach teaching business like I would teach music or anything else in this one regards. And I'm not saying it's right, by the way. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's the way I do it. And I would argue that if you learn it this way, then you can apply it to anything. I teach it as a template, as a pattern to go by. I show in steps 1 through 6 how to build up sales funnels. I teach what sales funnels are. I have a few illustrations as you get into RMP, like insurance, real estate. I just dropped one on Walgreens and stuff like that. I do that because you've got to have an illustration, but there's literally thousands and thousands of products, hundreds of different companies. There's no way I could do a training for every specific type.
Right.
Number one. Number two, it dilutes. And number three, for anybody that's been with me for any time, that's an elite member, that is connected and contracted with our referral marketing partners like Walgreens, like AT&T, like all these insurance companies that pay us to generate leads for them. That's what we're doing. You know as well as I do, a campaign goes active for a week, and then what happens? You get this email. Such and such, a campaign number 5309644 has now been discontinued or suspended, which they're telling you pull down all of your funnels, stop any of your engagement.
Because we're not paying you for it anymore.
Because that client right now doesn't need any more leads.
Right.
So the campaigns are on again and off again. So I could never make a training product that would be able. I can't make a static training in a dynamic market.
Right.
Sure.
Because it's just
I think that's also some of the differences between clients that come aboard and do really, really well and those that don't. Some come into it thinking it's Lego. It's a step-by-step. You put this here, you put this here, you put this there, you do this. And it's not always like that. There's some things that are like that, but
there's some
more
things.
of it is, like you said, it's a template. It's a mindset. It's like, here's how I would do it for this business in this market. What kind of business do you hold? How would you, you bring your...
Well, for instance, if I was teaching you guitar,
Mm-hmm.
I could teach you, okay, the way to play this country song is to play this G chord,
Yep.
to play this D chord, and to play this E chord.
Mm-hmm.
But then that song's no longer popular. Another song comes out, and it's in B flat, or you wouldn't do that in a guitar, surely, or A, or something else. And if all I ever did was teach you G, D, and E, then you're screwed as soon as a new song comes along.
But instead you teach them all the chords. Teach them how to transition.
If I teach you all the chords and then I teach you the theory behind it, what I just taught you when I said G, D, E,
Yep.
was a 1-4-5 chord pattern.
Yep.
And that's in most pop and country songs. So when the next song comes out and they put it in B flat, all of a sudden, he said 1-4-5. So that's B flat, E flat, F. You already know 1-4-5. So you just transpose that template, that logic, onto the next thing. I teach marketing the same way. If you start recognizing the patterns, then you apply the patterns to whatever, but little nuances of the pattern will change from time to time. Like, for instance, this particular campaign says we only take email marketing. Okay. So that means your engagement process is what? Through email.
Well, and I think, too, Terry, when you're looking at some of these, is let's think about the company that wants the referral marketing
Business.
items even established, right?
Right.
They're putting it, this is out of the mind of Michael at the moment, so it could be a little dangerous, especially on lack of sleep. But they're,
The way I see it.
I would say they're putting it into that kind of even environment because they don't want the market slammed with one type of marketing message.
You are brilliant, because that's exactly.
And if there's just one methodology out there, hey, do this. That's all everyone is going to see ever.
Yep.
And that is probably going to connect with maybe about 3% of the population.
You just hit on something, Michael, that's just brilliant. The whole reason they outsource the marketing, these companies could do their own marketing.
Oh, they have tons of money behind
They
it.
got tons of money. They don't need your. Why do they even outsource it? Because they want to be able to pull what Michael can pull, because you've got a specific way of reaching an audience that somebody on Fifth Avenue in New York is just not going. They're not going to relate to people in Clemson, South Carolina, that is into Clemson football and blah. You're going to be able to speak their language, build rapport, develop content, call on them with a voice. You're going to be able to connect with them. They can't.
Right.
But that means you have to come up with the strategies, the X and O's of how to do that.
Sure.
Because maybe they've got some guidelines, like our advertiser here only wants email, or only wants social media,
right?
Or only wants because they know the type of traffic they're looking for. But outside of that, it's up to you to put it together. And what we do is give examples and illustrations on some 4 or 5, what I call evergreen, because insurance never goes away. You can if you learn how to market insurance and generate leads for insurance, you'll have a job for the rest of your life, because you don't have campaigns going. But like, for instance, this example I just gave a minute ago, where I'm running surveys for the COVID-19. Well, that's seasonal. God, I hope.
Or every 6 months with social distancing.
I hope this isn't something that becomes a static offer.
But I think there's a little bit of it too. Also, Terry, is that you have some of these key ones out there that are ones you understand well.
Yeah.
Because you have a background in that industry, right?
Exactly.
And there's a
I don't know water for purification. I don't know.
Right. And so there's a little bit of that too, where you're still establishing the framework, and then insert content A.
Right.
Insert content B. And that's where the individuals that are coming, on as members can bring their backgrounds.
Right.
And then just insert content.
And that's why it's so important. Another thing that you're highlighting there that Michael just brought out, guys, that you need to hear: stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Don't try to start marketing things you know nothing about.
Right.
You don't know that industry. You don't have any background in it. And then, because I'm going to get this, well, Terry, I'm new to this. I know nothing. I don't come from, I've been a clock puncher. I've done this. Don't come. Okay. Do you understand what it was like to go get a job and have to apply for a job? Okay, start there, because that's a common thing everybody knows. Become a career advisor, where you're helping people get on with hourly jobs and getting paid by these companies to refer them over.
Or, what industry did you come out of?
Exactly.
Okay, so that industry. So then just apply these tools into that industry.
Exactly.